Why aren't people taught the best way to utilize critics' reviews? Honestly, there's too much noise. For the most part, people aren't really looking to utilize critics' reviews. When they read a review, they just want to have their own opinion parroted back to them. Or at least the most vocal people on the internet tend to feel that way. And since they're the most vocal, they're shouting the loudest. And so when games journalists try to approach the consumer and tell them this is the way we utilize our reviews, this is the way you should use this information, they're usually drowned out in a bunch of people who say shit like, well, you're invalidated because you couldn't beat the Cuphead tutorial or because you played a game on easy or something like that. But that's only part of it. The other is weirdly a generational thing. So I'm 38 years old. I'm a really old millennial or really young Gen Xer. And when we read stuff in GamePro or read a review of a vacuum in Appliance magazine, we just kind of knew. The magazines would have a foreword that would tell you what the purpose of the magazine was and what their review criteria is. And some websites still do that. But it was just sort of a thing. We watched our parents utilize reviews that way, and so we utilized reviews that way. And then we made the shift to online journalism, and things just kind of changed. Because, games journalism, or really criticism of any type, was kind of the bridge between the producer and the consumer. The producer could only get info to you so quick, so the critic was the go-between. But now, in the information technology age, basically, producers can directly market to consumers, which is good, but then that means everything they say is biased toward their own product. So the stuff that, critics and games journalists say is overwhelmed by the amount of previews and trailers and specific marketed presentations made by the developers and publishers themselves. And that drowns out games journalists' voices. And so that art of using criticism as sort of advanced scout information kind of has faded. Meanwhile, games journalists are criticized all the time for just having different opinions than gamers. And so instead of it being this exchange of information that is supposed to inform you on whether or not you want to make a purchase or experience it for yourself, it's become this weird schoolyard thing where the nerds are the critics who are just trying to get information down, and gamers keep picking on them and saying that they suck and saying that nothing they say matters, and all the good info kind of just gets lost in the noise.